couple more questions from fans, and I'll ask two in a row because it'll be amongst the same answer. Gator asks, can this be turned into a money-making angle, just like Brett Shaw, Matt Hardy, Edge, etc.? What would Dutch do if he was the booker? And Sir Griefalot asks if they don't turn, or says if they don't turn this into a company-wide civil war where everybody's forced to pick a side, they're going to miss one of the biggest opportunities in professional wrestling. How would you book your way out of this one?
Well, I think they've already missed it. I think that, I have never watched Dynamite in my life. Till I heard about all this stuff, I said, I'm going to tune in and see what's going on. But I missed it because I tuned in late. I said, well, surely they'll do an in-ring and they'll talk about it. But they didn't even do that. They did Tony Khan up front doing a sit down, which made it look less, not effective, but less serious than what it was. So when he suspended this guy and those guys, well, you can't suspend people and do angles with them at the same time.
Didn't even say their names.
They treated it like it wasn't a big deal. I mean, this was one of the biggest publicity opportunities for AEW that they've ever had. And it was unplanned. Either Tony didn't have time to think about it or just wanted to get past it as fast as he could. Well, he got past it. So I don't know how you bring it back. And especially with CM Punk out. And he's out with an injury. Mm-hmm. You couldn't do anything with him. How many times has he been hurt in the last 2 months, 3 months?
He's had
the third time?
3 matches, and he's been hurt twice really badly, I think.
And did he get hurt in the fight?
No, we believe he got hurt in the match. He got hurt in the match quite early on as well on a tope.
So he didn't get hurt in a real fight, but got hurt in a perceived fight.
Yeah, it speaks a lot to how not tough the Young Bucks are, because CM Punk was the absolute dirt worst UFC fighter in the modern era in history, and he could still take with one arm Matt Jackson, who's 3-on-1.
I don't know what they're going to do with it, but no, how would I book it? I'd have to really stop and think about it. But see, if he's going to be gone 8 months, you can't start talking about him now, because by the time he gets back, hell, it's old hat now. Mm-hmm. I just say, I think he's going to have to do more than that. To even make it look like it's more serious, as serious as it was. I don't think people really taking in all the ramifications of this. Now, who I think's in a tough spot is that legal analyst that was in the dressing room. Mm-hmm. I think it's a she, right? You said?
Yeah.
Mega, hey Mega, you're in a tough spot, honey. I don't know what to tell you, and I don't even know what Tony Khan is thinking. Who knows? All right, go to the next question. Well, I got to get done.
Yeah. I'll give you 1 or 2 more, then I'll leave you to it. You said in the previous podcast, I don't think Tony Khan can lose on this one.
Well, that's what I thought at the time, because it was so well laid out. And it could have been laid out just by accident. But I did say, well, he closed one gap or one hole or one door, and he opened up about 4 more. Those other 4 doors have since closed, too. They've been slammed shut, I guess, from the Bucks kicking them open, I guess. But yeah, I did say that. I say a lot of things sometimes I shouldn't say, but how could you miss with what they had laid out? But apparently you can, because when you let talent all of a sudden set their own rules, and we're going to, the only way I can describe this is backstage impact, because I think the Bucks want to be looked at as the bosses and Omega, but now Punk's He's opened that door now that you're a piece of crap and you don't know what you're doing. Now, that's what they're pissed at, because they're pissed at losing their clout in the dressing room. But they have to, I think there's other ways to go about getting his attention other than trying to punch him. And you say what you want to about CM Punk's MMA career. He still had to train for that, so he had to learn to protect himself somehow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He trained at Duke Rufus, which is a very highly touted gym, for a good couple of years, so he learned something, definitely. He
had to. So here, Matt Jackson coming in, hey, you SOB, blah, 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 blah. And then and I'm sure CM Punk did throw the first punch, because if somebody's coming at you in an aggressive manner, and Punk's probably got a hot temper too, he just let it fly.
Sort of a two-part question. Who do you fire? Who do you just keep suspended and fined? And also, who is most in the wrong and who's most in the right? So CM Punk, Tony Khan, EVPs, Ace Steel.
Well, I think the blame has to go to the top guy. It's got to go to Tony for not knowing his own locker room. Of course, he may have known, he may have hired too many people. Now, who knows? It's hard to keep track of 143 people. And if you put on top of that agents and producers, and he's got 200 people working for him. Easy. So how can, I don't know what his TV contracts are, but he can't be making that much money on them because he's too busy paying people. But I hold Punk responsible for going out there on that scrum. That's my favorite new word now. The scrum, and just blasting everybody, blasting even Colt Cabana, who some people don't even know. And that's from even another company that's coming back, blasting him, then blasted Hangman Page, and then
MVP,
blasted the Young Bucks.
Brian Alvarez.
What, did he blast him too?
Yep.
What do you say about him?
Oh, just said he was mad at him for propagating the rumor that he got Colt Cabana moved to Ring of Honor.
Okay. And that's what they do. Because I don't know how to break this to people, but we're in this clickbait era. So the more negative you are, the more clickbait you're going to get. I said a deal one time about Sting that got a lot of attention. And what I said about Sting, if you ask him today how he got over in WCW, he couldn't tell you. Because it wasn't his idea. It was Scott Hall's idea, really. And he could go and do what you ask him to do or what the role required for that night. But he couldn't tell you. He couldn't lay out right now how he got over. But this is something I've never seen before in the wrestling business. It won't go away overnight. I mean, it has died down quite a bit already, but I don't think the suspensions and had much to do with it. But I still don't think we've heard the worst of this yet.
And just to get it from you before we shut down, who do you fire? Do you fire anybody? Do you fire Ace Steel because he didn't help matters? Do you fire CM Punk because no one likes him? Do you fire the EVPs?
Tough question. That's for Tony Khan. What I would do, I would fire him for about, if you're fired without repercussions. I mean, if you're suspended and get a check, that's like almost being rewarded. Mm. Now, I think he needs to take the Bucks and suspend them without pay for about 6 months. Punk, same thing, because he would respect money.
He's already out anyway, so.
Yeah, just don't pay him if you can. I don't know what his contract says. The other guys, Now I'm saying if you're just in the dressing room, I don't know why. And Ace Steele, you could just fire him. I think he's just an agent anyway. I don't even know the guy.
No.
I may have met him. I've never heard anything bad about him though. But Christopher Daniels, if he was just in the room, I don't know why he would be suspended, or anybody else that was just in the room. Now, this fight supposedly, wait a minute, allegedly went on for 5 or 6 minutes, they said. But I don't think the fight went on for 5 or 6 minutes. I think the fight went on maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And then the after fight cussing went on for 5 minutes because they were cussing each other. And that's what I think happened. But I think that maybe Christopher Daniels probably got heat from probably not defusing the situation or getting the Bucks out or getting Omega out, or because you can't run Punk out of his own dressing room. They were in his dressing room. So it's going to be a tough decision for Mr. Tony Khan to handle. I think we need to put a wrestler's court on this. That's where a wrestler's court really needs to come.
You can be the judge. You're an impartial intermediary.
I would. I'd call it right down the middle, and that would be an interesting court case. What if you had Judge Judy, and this went in front of her? If I was Tony Khan, I would try to get that done. Think of the viewing audience you would have for that. It would really help Judge Judy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd like you to be the prosecuting attorney or the defense, either one.
Oh, I won't be prosecutor. I'm going to just blame people for their actions. So, but it's all up to Judge Judy anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who did you think would get convicted?
Man, I think it'd be a push.
They'd all be convicted. They'd all be guilty of something, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think it'd be a push. It'd even out. But yeah, they've all convicted. One of striking the other, one aggressively approaching another.
One would be attempted assault and the other would be assault. Mm-hmm. I don't think you could blame Punk for saying he was defending himself. I don't think that.